let's get into what is coaching. Now, in a broad spectrum, in a broad sense, coaching is helping people from the sidelines win in the game of life. So if you think of a football game, the coaches stand on the side, and there's actually some coaches that stand up a little bit higher in the bleachers that look down with the binoculars, usually some sort of offensive coordinators. But coaches are not in the game. They don't do it for you, but they can help you become better at it because maybe they've already solved this part of their puzzle, which I'll get into as well. Now, IntraAwareness Coaching is assisting, equipping, and guiding our clients to achieve a life fulfilled with purpose and passion. So coaching's a big word, and really it's about helping people get better, but that also can be really vague. Now, here's the difference. I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but life coaching is a term that's out there. And this is the difference between a general life coach and an intra-awareness coach. Now, before I share this and the next part when we talk about the difference between intra-awareness coach and a therapist, you have to understand this comes from my experience in the last 23 years of working in the field of health and wellness. This is my personal experience. And of course, no, this does not fit every single life coach out there, or when I get into the therapist, every single therapist out there. But yes, it does fit the majority. Each profession has almost like a collective consciousness to it. The majority of plumbers are a certain way. The majority of doctors are a certain way. The majority of hockey players are a certain way. That's also true for every profession. That's also true for coaches, for therapists, and I'm going to get into a little bit of the differences. So no, this doesn't equal every single person, but yes, it does the majority, over 70% for both. So I just wanted to clarify that first. So a general life coach really focuses on goals. Goals are very linear, two-dimensional. Here's where you're at, here's where you want to be. That's great. Intra-awareness coach, we focus on outcomes first and then goals. What is the difference? Well, a goal is two-dimensional. Yes, we need goals, but goals have no emotion to it. You ever thought about that? Actually, goals don't work unless there's an emotion associated or connected to it. So goals are, I want this. I want to get here. I want to achieve this much. But outcomes are more of once you achieve your goals, once you get there, whether it's that relationship that you want, that house that you want, the certain amount of number of income that you want to generate, once you achieve that goal, what will that do for you? How would that feel? What would your life be different? What would it be like? What would that give you the ability to do in your life? We want to get you emotionally involved in your goals. So the A to B or here to there, that's great. But if you don't get emotions involved, there's a high percentage chance you're not going to reach the goal. So another thing about life coaches is they really focus on more what, in my experience. So what do you want? Okay, great. So what about this? And what about this? This is great. It's a great question. But we focus on why first. We want to know what your why is. Your why is your biggest drive, your motivation, your reason behind it. So we're really going to focus on why do you want this? Like, what is that going to do for you? Like, why? What's the bigger drive for you? And then what is it that you want? How are you going to get there? Or what do we have to do to get there, right? And what if this comes up? What if this comes up? Now, we really focus on multidimensional. The why isn't necessarily like some traditional therapy, which I'll get into, is why do you feel that way? We actually very rarely ask that, and I'll tell you why in the next part. But we want to know why, which is your what behind it, your what behind your goal, your motivation. That's your why. That needs to become first, and that's what's going to drive everything in life. The people that don't have a strong enough why don't achieve their goals. The people that are closest to their why, they can't be stopped, which is really, really great. Another thing about life coaching is it's more at the conscious level. Now, later in the series, when we talk about the difference between the anatomy of the unconscious mind and the mental snowman, I'm going to really get into different details about what the conscious level is. But in a nutshell, big picture of the conscious level is what you're immediately focused on right this second. Much like whatever's on your phone, whatever's on your computer screen, whatever's on your tablet, whatever you're focusing on is limited to whatever you're focusing on Everything else has to do with more the unconscious level. Your unconscious mind stores all the information, all your memories. We work with the conscious level, of course, the conscious mind, but we talk about the unconscious mind, which is light years greater than that. We go to the subconscious mind because there's a difference between the subconscious and unconscious mind. If there's different words, there's different meanings. Some people use it interchangeably. We differentiate and explain exactly what that is. And there's something called the higher consciousness, which isn't necessarily have anything to do with the mind other than it created the mind. And when you get into peripheral awareness, you have access to your unconscious mind and your higher consciousness. So we get into a lot more robust diversity of your total being. Then there's a lot of times there's preset programs, meaning working with the life coach, they might walk you through these preset things. You start off here, start off here, start off here, and kind of go through this program. And it's great, right? I'm not saying don't see a life coach. Life coaches are great for people who are maybe beginners and they just want to get started dabbling in personal growth. Maybe they're starting to read some of the books and maybe they had addictions. Maybe they had really toxic relationships and they're just maybe starting to turn the boat around. This is for people that's really ready to get to work. And yeah, we can do beginners for sure as well, but it's going to be at a more direct rate, which means you're going to get more results than something more preset. We focus on personalized. So we do have systems in place. It's a very systematic system, but it's very personalized to you. We take everybody, whether it's personal or in business, and put them through a 4-quadrant assessment. We got to know where you're at, where you want to be, where you've been, and what's stopping you from getting to where you want right now. So we need to go through that. But then we have thousands of techniques, models, and strategies that we can use, customize interchangeably, that gives you the best results with what's coming up in the moment. So that's a big difference between preset and personalized. And then the biggest difference that I see in my experiences of life coaches, sometimes they get like hours, maybe months of training. Where IntraAwareness coaches, we get years of training, we meet weekly. So I lead my I would say stable of coaches. I have a lot of coaches that we meet and they're trying to become better. We're talking about different techniques, how they can apply in different situations, different challenges or struggles, and certain clients that come up, hey, what do you think about this, Jeremiah? I have a client X who's coming up with this particular thing. What do you recommend? I get more information, I help them, and they actually help them solve their puzzle. So we meet weekly, and then there's continued education goes on, and they're really in it to win it. What does that mean, in it to win it? Well, I measure my success by the results that I get. We as IntraAwareness coaches are really valuable once we get the results. So we are highly motivated by winning, and winning really means results, success. Let it go of those negative voices, those emotional blocks, carry the world in your shoulders, get that off. It's really your results. So that's a huge difference between a life coach and an IntraAwareness coach. Now, for the next video, we're going to get into the difference between an IntraAwareness coach and traditional therapy, because they are not very similar. In certain ways, a life coach and an IntraAwareness coach is, in a lot of ways it's not, obviously. And then the same thing for about therapy. Now, after that video, I'm going to talk the difference about who would be best to do life coaching, who would be best to do IntraAwareness coaching, and who would be best to be a therapist. In no way, shape, or form am I saying this is the only way, this might be the most efficient way for a lot of people, but other ways can be better, right? There's so many options for every one of us, and we really have to find out what works best for us, get in where we fit in. So I'm excited for the next video.